Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.
Welcome to The Health Advocates, a podcast that breaks down major health news of the week to help you make sense of it all. I'm Stephen Newmark, Chief Policy Officer at the Global Healthy Living Foundation. Today, we have something special. We're highlighting a recent Nobel Prize in medicine that offers fresh hope to millions living with autoimmune diseases. It's not just a scientific milestone. It could shape new treatments, new strategies, and renew trust in immune therapies. We'll talk about what discovery won the Nobel this year, why it matters for autoimmune disease patients, how it connects with GHLF's mission in patient advocacy, and what this means for the future. With us today is my colleague, Shilpa Venkatachalam, who's going to help us dissect what's going on. Shilpa, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Stephen. This is going to be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited to get into it. And we'll just say for our readers, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine this year was awarded to Shimon Sakaguchi, Mary Brunko, and Fred Ramsdell for revealing critical mechanisms of how the immune system regulates itself. Their work focused on regulatory T cells and the FOXP3 gene. I hope I said that right. Shilpa will correct me if I did not. They helped explain how the immune system knows when to fight and when to pause so it doesn't attack its own body's tissues. Prior to this discovery, scientists understood immune soldiers, T cells, but had limited grasp of how the brakes, the regulators, worked. This research added the, quote, safety inspector, as some of us who are not as advanced call it, into the immune system model. So let's get into it. Shilpa, we often hear about the immune system as our body's defense force, but what happens when it turns against us, leading to autoimmune diseases?
So this is a great question. You want to think about the immune system as a team of firefighters, right? So normally when you have an injury or an infection, these firefighters or T cells rush in to put out the fires that are caused by the infection or the injury. But what happens in autoimmune diseases is that these firefighters will often get confused, and then they start attacking healthy parts of the body, like your own joints or organs. So essentially, they're thinking of your own body as something foreign. And this misdirected response is what leads to inflammation and damage that is so characteristic of conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and the host of other autoimmune conditions that we talk about.
Interesting. And the Nobel Prize highlighted the discoveries about how our immune system knows when to fight and when to stop. Can you break down what these scientists found?
Absolutely. So the three scientists, and of course this is work that's been going on for decades, they identified a crucial component in immune regulation. And Stephen, you remarked about this. These are the regulatory T cells, or what are called TREGs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, prior to this, we did have information about the T cells that act like soldiers in our body. But what they pointed out was that there were specific kinds of T cells called the regulatory T cells that help to keep our immune system in check. So let's just understand this a little better. T cells are a type of white blood cells that act as soldiers or firefighters in your immune system, right? The main job is to identify and attack invaders, viruses, bacteria, or abnormal cells like in cancers. Regulatory T cells, or TREGs as they're called, are like the immune system's peacekeepers or referees. So they, in turn, watch over your regular T cells. So think of it as your regular T cells being the frontline soldiers fighting the invaders. TREGs make sure the immune response does not go out of control. So they prevent the regular T cells from attacking the body's own healthy cells. Now, without TREGs, the immune system could mistakenly attack the body, which is what happens in autoimmune diseases. The other thing that they discovered, as you said, was the FOXP3 gene. And that's essentially like a training guide or a manual for the regulatory T cells, right, or the TREGs to function correctly. Without the guidance, TREGs would not know what to do, and the immune system would not be able to distinguish between harmful invaders and the body's own cells, which is when things like autoimmune diseases actually happen.
Interesting. And so for those of us living with an autoimmune condition, how does this research translate into hope for better treatments?
Yeah, so this was really exciting for me as well. I lead our patient-centered research at the organization, and we call upon our patients constantly, the patient community, to participate in research. And I myself live with an autoimmune condition. So this discovery is a game changer. Understanding how TREGs and FOXP3 works opens the door to new therapies that can restore balance to the immune system. So, up until now, we've had some fantastic therapies, right? But instead of just suppressing symptoms, treatments could target the root cause, the misguided immune responses. This approach is already influencing research in autoimmune diseases, in cancer, even in organ transplantation, aiming for more precise and effective therapies that can then help patients to live better lives.
Interesting. Wow, that's great. Well, patients play a key role in turning lab discoveries into real-world therapies. How does patient involvement accelerate autoimmune research?
So that's a great question. I want to start by actually extending gratitude to our own patient community at GHLF, Global Healthy Living Foundation, Creaky Joints, and Patient Spot. When patients provide invaluable real-world insights, they guide research. And by participating in clinical trials, sharing experiences, whether that's through surveys or anecdotally, offering feedback, patients really help scientists understand the practical challenges, but also the effectiveness of treatments. Now, this kind of partnership and collaboration really ensures that therapies are not only scientifically sound, but also align with patients' needs and experiences. So, I would venture so far as to say that scientific advancement in research, understanding these diseases, is not possible without the generous participation of the patient community, as we've seen within our organization as well.
Excellent. Wow. That's fascinating. So looking ahead, Shilpa, what do you envision for the future of autoimmune disease treatment with these new insights?
Oh my God, the future is really promising. We've been in talks with various researchers and clinicians, and everyone is excited about new therapeutics that are now being developed, right? With new insights into immune regulation, we can create treatments that are more precise, targeted, personalized. It's like fine-tuning the immune system rather than just suppressing it. So organizations like ours and other advocacy organizations play a key role in this progress, connecting patients with research, supporting clinical trials, ensuring that patient experiences guide the development of new therapeutics. And this kind of patient-centered approach, Stephen, is what helps make treatments not only scientifically advanced, but also truly relevant to the people who need them, like all of us.
Very powerful. Thank you so much, Shilpa, for coming today and sharing your knowledge of this important, I guess it's the award, really the research had been done prior, but the award shows on the research and for sharing with all of our patients and giving us a lot of hope for what's to come in the future.
Thank you, Stephen. It's great to end on a note of hope. And we have a small article that we've written, very easy to understand, to explain this research. We'll drop the link in the episode description so people can take a closer read at it.
Excellent. The 2025 Nobel Prize is more than a prestige win. It marks a turning point, a moment where the immune system's brakes are finally getting their due in research. For those of us working alongside patients, it's a reminder that science isn't just abstract. It's hope, progress, and incremental change that one day becomes recovery. Thank you for joining us today on this deep dive with Shilpa. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and stay tuned in as we track how TREGs and FOXP3 move from discovery into therapies. Thanks for listening to The Health Advocates, a podcast that breaks down major health news of the week to help you make sense of it all. If you found this episode helpful, please leave us a rating or review and share it with someone who cares about healthcare policy. And be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find all of GHLF's podcasts at ghlf.org/listen. I'm Stephen Newmark. We'll see you next time.
Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation Podcast Network.